to Kali Maa Studies. And tonight we're going to be going over verse 5 of the Kali Sahasranama. So before we begin, let's go ahead and do our 3 ohms to clear our energy, clear our minds, center and ground us, and of course, give greetings and salutations to the great mother's son, Ganesha. Go ahead and bring your hands to heart center. Take a nice deep breath in. A second time, nice deep breath in. Last time. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Ekatantaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Dantihi Prachodayat. Om Namo Bhagavate Ekadam Sraya Hasamokaya Lambodara Uchisamahatmane Om Krom Rim Gege Swaha. Jema. So let's go ahead and take a look at our verse for this evening. So we've made it through 5 verses of the Kali Sahasranama, and if you've been following along, you know that the Sahasranama means the 1,000 names and forms. And there are many different types of Sahasranamas. There's a Vishnu Sahasranama, a Shiva Sahasranama, and this is the Kali Sahasranama. So our verse for tonight, I'll read the whole verse, is Kāntā kāmasvarūpā kāmākhyā kulapālinī kulīnā kulavatyambā durgārtināśinī. And I'm really excited about this evening because this happens to be the last night of this season's Navratri, Gupt Navratri. And those are the 9 nights to celebrate different forms of the Holy Mother. And many traditions celebrate Durga tonight. And Durga's name just happens to be in the verse this evening. But let's start off by looking at the other names first, and then I'll tell one of the stories of the glorious Durga Maa as one of the 1008 names of Kali Maa. So the 26th name, and that's the first in verse 5, is Kāntā. Kāntā, Kāntā. And the translation is she who is beauty enhanced by love. And Kāntā also means a beautiful, beloved woman. Another interesting thing about the word or name Kāntā is it's also a medicinal creeper in Ayurvedic medicine called Priyanghu or Kalakarpa macrophala. So Kāntā, she who is a beloved, beautiful woman. You know, as I've said in other sessions, a lot of people think of Kali Maa as just this fierce, ferocious form of the Holy Mother, but she's much more complex than that. Now, the 27th name is kāmasvarūpā. And Kama, we've looked at that name a little bit already, means desire, or some people say lust, but you know, we can understand that as desire. I believe that lust is more desire with rajasic energy or neurotic energy attached to it. But onward with the name and the form. So kāmasvarūpā, the general translation that you'll see in like a Kali Puja book is she who is the intrinsic form of desire. And when we look at the word svarūpa, that means the essence or the inherent form. Now, another name that is in this section of verse 5 is kāmākhyā. Kāmākhyā. And kāmākhyā is very, very well known amongst tantrikas and other practitioners. And the definition is she whose name is desire. But when we look at the two words and break them apart, kama, we've already talked about desire, and akhya means name, expression, or fame. And kāmākhyā is highly revered in many, many beautiful temples in India. And many times you don't see like your typical statue murti or image of Kali Maa. In kāmākhyā temples, it's often a stone yoni. And these are very sacred to Shaktas, particularly in the older temples in India. Now, kāmākhyā is specifically worshipped, this form of the mother, for fertility, for sexuality, and for creation as well. And you'll see her oftentimes with 12 arms and 6 heads, and each head is a different color. So there's a red one, a white one, a yellow one, a green one, a black one, and a colorful one. And you'll see kāmākhyā sitting on top of the lotus flower of Brahma. And underneath that, you'll see usually a form of Shiva that looks like a preta or a corpse, but it's actually Shiva in Shavasana, corpse pose. And he's laying on top of a lion. So that's usually the visual clue that you're looking at an image of kāmākhyā. Now, the 29th name, let's take a look at that one, is kulapālinī. Kulapālinī. And let me know what you think about these names, or if you've had experience with these names. What do these names stir up in your experience or your perception, specifically of Kali Maa? So kulapālinī, kula means family, lineage, or a Shakta system. And Palini means she who guards, protects, or shields. So Kulapālinī is the guardian form of the mother of either the family or a sacred lineage. And this form of the mother is often worked with to protect family honor and virtue within the family. Now, a couple more, and then we're going to get into the story about Durga Maa, because she's one of the names that happens to be in the verse today. And in many places, they highly revere her on the last day of Navratri. So, all right, the 31st name is kulavatyambā. Let's say that again, kulavatyambā. And if you're looking for these names or the spelling of the names, I have them in the description of the video also. So you can just hit the description, and I've already cut and paste them in there. All right, kulavatyambā, she who is the repository of excellence. Kula plus vati, we already talked about kula, family. And vati means one who is possessing or abiding in. And amba is the name for a mother, a sacred term for mother. So kulavatyambā is also known as the destroyer of sorrows, particularly within families, and a very protective form of the mother. Now we're going to skip 32 and we're going to do 33 first so that I can tell the story at the end. So the 33rd name is durgārtināśinī. So durgārtināśinī. Like I said, if you're looking for the spelling, it's in the description. And this is often found in the Kali Puja books as she who is the destroyer of all difficulties. And durgārtināśinī destroys our distress, destroys our misery, our illness, like our diseases. And when we look at the word arti, long A, short I, it means distress, pain, or suffering. Not arti, where you offer the flames at the altar. It's a different form of arti. And nashini means to destroy, to remove, to eliminate. So durgārtināśinī is worked with specifically for protection and liberation from all disease and commotion of the physical, mental, or spiritual nature. Now, the 32nd name, and the last one we're going to cover tonight, is Durga, Durga Maa. And this is one of the 1008 names of Kali Maa. Durga means generally the reliever of difficulties. And Durga also means impassable, invincible, beyond defeat, and very difficult to overrun. Durga also means fortress. Good evening, Chase Powell. Good evening, Coco. All right. Now, dur means difficult. Gum means to go or pass. So when we work with Durga, we're often asking for protection and the conquering of difficulty or even evil forces. Now, when we see Durga Maa, she's often with 8 or 10 arms. And in those arms, she's holding a discus, a chakra, spinning on her finger. It looks like a little wheel. She's holding a conch shell. She's holding a bow, an arrow. She's holding a sword, a javelin, also a trishula, or a three-pronged trident. She's also holding a shield, a mace, a lotus flower, and also a noose, a rope noose. And we almost always see Durga Maa riding a lion. Sometimes you see her on a tiger, sometimes you see her on a lion. But let's hear about one of the stories of Durga Maa. So once upon a time, there was a powerful demon by the name Mahishasura. And Mahishasura was the son of Rambha, the king of Asuras. So he was the son of the king of demons. And Mahishasura's mother was a water buffalo, and he was well known for being a shapeshifter. So Mahishasura did these really powerful austerities. He did all of his spiritual sadhanas above and beyond what most people did. And he wanted to be granted a boon. That's usually why the demons do their austerities. They want something. And he wanted the boon that he could not be killed by a god, a deity, or a man. Well, Mahishasura embodies the inner demons that reside inside each individual, and the asuras of the uncured ego, or the false ego. Things like anger, greed, jealousy, ignorance, and a-dharma. What's dharma? Righteousness, doing the right thing. A-dharma is not doing the right thing. Good evening, Nivedita. Well, anyways, back to Mahishasura, this shape-shifting buffalo demon. So he was well known for being intensely hateful. And once he was granted this special boon that he couldn't be destroyed by a god, a demigod, a deva, a deity, or a man. He was like, "Ha ha! I'm gonna destroy the earth, the hellish realms, and the heavenly realms." So he went out on a rampage, and all the residents of all three worlds ran to Brahma and pleaded with Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And they said, please, you have to defeat this horrible, hateful Asura, Mahishasura, or he's going to destroy all of us and all of the realms. So at this point, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva say, Parvati Maa, Parvati Maa, one of the forms, the oldest forms of the Holy Mother, they approached her and said, can you please create a goddess that has never been seen before, who is powerful enough to slay Mahishasura? Because Mahishasura didn't ask for the boon not to be killed by a woman, because he was like, well, it's a woman. Like, I don't need to ask for that boon, because a woman will never conquer me, right? So the gods came together, they merged their energies with the Holy Mother, Parvati. And out of that, Durga arose from the Ganga waters with 1,000 arms. She was holding Shiva's trident, Vishnu's discus, the chakra, Varuna's conch shell, Indra's thunderbolt and bell, Brahma's water pot, Agni's spear, Yama, the Lord of Death, his sword, Vayu's bow and arrow, and Surya's radiant light. She also was seated upon this very majestic lion, holding a divine, not the lion holding it, but she was also holding a divine net, a shield, an axe, a disciplining rod, wearing battle armor, wearing a rosary of letters. Many of us know that this is also the Varnamala, or the garland of skulls. She was holding a bowl of renunciation, which is usually the top half of a human skull for eating and drinking. And she was also holding, wearing red, beautiful garments, necklace of gems and necklaces of serpents, a beautiful garland of whole lotuses, and a garland of human decapitated heads, or demon decapitated heads. Sometimes they're bloody heads, sometimes they're skulls, depends on the artist, and bracelets and anklets and rings. Okay, so she was also holding one hand up, an abhaya, reminding all of the citizens of heaven, earth, and hell, do not fear, and holding the mudra varada, bestowing boons of prosperity. And then she also was wearing a crown of jewels with a crescent moon inside of it. Well, Mahishasura saw her way up on the mountain when she appeared on the battleground on her lion, and he laughed. He said, ha ha, and he scoffed and he mocked her. And he said, no, I'll make her my wife. She'll be my woman servant. And asked if he could be her keeper. Durga's joyful, beautiful face grew dark like rain clouds, and all the gods knew what was coming, and they yelled out, victory be yours, Jai Durga Maa. So Mahishasura started attacking Durga with 10 million demonic foot soldiers, with 60,000 chariots drawn by horses and elephants. And Durga simply laughed, and she roared. And her roar and laughter, which was so intense, caused all the worlds to quake, and the oceans to begin to rage. And she began to effortlessly rain down weapons upon Mahishasura's demon army. And she was beating her drum, she was playing her cymbals, she was ringing her bells, she was blowing her conch shell. She ended up clubbing them, slicing them, piercing them, and tore them apart into a river of blood. Now, I'm not making this story up. This is from the Chandipath. She snatched the other demons with her net and dragged them down to the ground and then reduced them to dust. And the demons continued, because how many were there? 10 million. They continued to attack for many days and many nights, and she just continued to shatter their weapons and cause all of their weaponry to just break apart. And when she would chant her mantras themselves would strike the demons dead. Well, Mahishasura was finally like, oh my gosh, my army is decimated. I have to now join in the battle. So he entered combat with Durga and he fought with his snout. He kicked, he cried, he puffed in exertion. And then he thought, I'm going to kill her lion. That'll do it. And as soon as he threatened to kill her lion, then she became even more infuriated and her eyes turned blood red and she drank from her skull cup, laughing and roaring in ecstasy. And in one fell swipe, with her double-edged sword, she cut off his head. Tema. So that's the story of Durga and Mahishasura. So if we look back over our verse for tonight, verse 5 is what we're on in the Kali Sahasranama. It's Kāntā kāmasvarūpā kāmākhyā kulapālinī kulīnā kulavatyambā durgārtināśinī. So I hope you're enjoying this exploration of Kali Maa and her incredible 1008 forms. And I hope that it is bringing a different and a deeper understanding of the Holy Mother, not just as this furious, angry form of the mother, but also as forms like kāmākhyā, the one who is desire, and Kāntā, one who is the beloved. Different names like kulīnā, who is excellence, and the protector of the family. So I will be back next Tuesday, 6 o'clock Pacific Coast US time. And if you have any comments, experiences, in between classes and the names, or even questions, feel free to put it in the comments. And like I said a couple times already, I put the names that we went over today in their proper spelling with the lines and the dots and all of that in the description. And I'll see you all next Tuesday. Jema.